Hello, and welcome to this JMC weekly webinar for December 20th, 2023, working with JMC's Google Classroom integration. I'm going to introduce you to our team. It's me and Luke today. My name is Sherry Phillips. I am a trainer here at JMC, going into my third season of onboarding new schools. I was a office person, ran the office in a JMC Lutheran high school for many years, and then decided to work with them full time. And I'm very happy to be here. I'd also like to introduce Luke. Hi, Luke.
Hey, my name is Luke Hartzell. I've been with JMC for the last 5 years. I am a development specialist here as well as the head of the integration team.
Wonderful. Thank you, Luke. Just a little tip, integrations are always of no cost here at JMC. We'll talk more about it later, but that's just a really awesome thing that JMC has. Also, another tip going into this, any student data you see is completely made up. It is not real student data that we're using. Google Classroom and JMC. Discover how JMC's Google Classroom integration can elevate your educational journey. In this session, we'll cover essential topics, including enabling Google integration in JMC Office, syncing JMC courses to Google Classroom within JMC Teacher, and effectively managing imported assignments from Google Classroom in JMC Teacher. Whether you're a teacher, administrator, or education professional, this webinar is your gateway to optimizing your teaching experience and streamlining your educational processes. So please hold all of your questions until the Q&A session at the end of each section. If you do need to communicate with the host, feel free to use the Q&A chat feature in your webinar toolbar. Let's get going, getting started by granting JMC access. Grant JMC access to your Google Classroom API. With Google Classroom integration, the Google Classroom integration provides teachers with the opportunity to import student assignment scores from Google Classroom directly into JMC Teacher for additional gradebook functionality and report card management. Prior to integrating with JMC, Google requires schools to grant JMC access to your Google Classroom API. So again, we need you to get permission from Google Classroom to talk to JMC. Click this link in your Google Admin Console and head to Security, Access, and Data Control API Controls to manage your Google Classroom API settings. Step 1, click the Manage Domain-Wide Delegation link in the Domain-Wide Delegation section to access the API for your clients. So this little link, I'm going to go ahead and exit, and we'll see what that link looks like. I think I can open it in a new tab. There we go. So it's going to look like this. So when you click that link, you'll go ahead and put in your information as the admin. I just wanted to show that because it might be helpful. Again, we can't show you live looks of this section because it is within your Google Classroom Administrator. Step 2, click the New Add link at the top of the page to begin the process of providing JMC access to your Google Classroom. Step 3, enter your service account unique ID in the Client ID field to connect JMC with your school's Google Classroom. So here's a helpful tip. Check your email for the service account unique ID provided to you by JMC's integration specialist, Luke. So Luke will help you with that part as well. Do you need to speak on this at all, Luke, this part? No.
No, I think we're good there.
Okay. And just so you know, everything you're seeing here is provided to you in an article form, so no need to be scribbling down notes or what have you. We will provide this webinar to you in full, and then all of this is also written in articles for you to have as your guide. So these are the URLs I believe they were talking about. We provide these to you here and then also in your article, but we will want you, step 4, to copy and paste this list of URLs in the OAuth scopes field to grant JMC access to the corresponding Google Classroom data elements. So again, you will find places in the Google Classroom setup in Google to copy and paste these URLs, and you just do them exactly as they're written. Simply copy and paste, it says it here, the URLs as they appear. They've already been comma delimited so that there is no need to reformat or anything. They're ready to go. And then step 5, you will see an authorize button, and you will click that to grant access so JMC can talk to Google Classroom. The floor, is there any questions right now? I just see some general questions. Again, what I had mentioned is that JMC, to integrate with JMC in Google Classroom, there is no cost. And you might be wondering, well, how do I get started if I have questions? The first step on any integration in JMC is to reach out to us. You can email Luke directly at luke@jmcinc.com, or even if you reach out to the support team or the training team or your CSS just wanting an integration, the first step is just to reach out to Luke. For Google Classroom, we kind of have all these steps written out for you, but again, we integrate with all kinds of other programs, and if you want to know what that looks like, reach out to him to get started. Again, no cost. And again, even if it's just student data, right? Integrations can save you keystrokes and time, and that's what JMC is all about, saving you time. So now next is to set up the integration within JMC, and that is within JMC Office. With so many teachers using Google Classroom as their learning management system, JMC has found a way to make teachers' lives even easier. Teachers can avoid double entry of grades while utilizing all the tools that Google Classroom has to offer by using JMC's Google Classroom integration. Look at here. It says right here, to get started with Google Classroom in your district, give us a call. Yep, you could call us. I didn't mention that. Or email support to enable the integration in your district, or again, support or Luke directly, or training, your CSS, anyone. We can all point you to Luke and get you started. To activate the integration at the district level, head to File Integrations. So again, we're going to be I'll show you in the live look. We'll be in JMC Office at the district level, and then we'll go to File Integrations. Step 1, click the edit link next to the Google Classroom sync to enable the integration to be set up on a daily sync time. So that's when we want to set up Google Classroom as a sync. And I know the arrow's down here, but it would be right here with the Google Classroom. Here's a helpful tip. Set up the daily sync time for a time when the teachers would be finished entering their grades for the day. An example, 11 p.m. or as late as you possibly can to ensure that as much data as possible for that day is synced. That's just that's a helpful tip to know. Step 2, place a check mark in the enabled checkbox to enable the integration. Step 3, enter the time in the time field for the daily sync, or simply click the clock. So again, here you'll want to enable that, and then you'll see when we click the clock, there's lots of times to select, or you just type it in. The comment field, you can use that to make any kind of comment you would like. That's just, I believe, for your eyes. Here's a fun fact. JMC will automatically pull assignments and scores from Google Classroom every day at the time you indicate in the time field, and then enter them into your JMC gradebooks for you. Step 4, of course, whenever you see a save, you usually need to click that, right? Click the save button to save your changes. Step 5, on the other side of the screen, so that was kind of on the left side. On the right side, you will see a Sync Now link to connect your JMC teacher classes with your Google Classroom information about your school. So you'll click that button right there, Sync Now. Manual syncing can be done in JMC Teacher and JMC Office to perform an immediate sync instead of waiting for the end of the day. So again, go ahead and set up those scheduled syncs, but if you need something to sync right away, say a teacher was working on their grades at midnight and you want to reflect that in the morning, you do have the ability to sync immediately as well, so which is super helpful. Step 6, enter the Google Classroom admin email to be used to sync your Google Classroom and JMC information in the appropriate text box. So again, that will be I know it says Jake here, we've made that up. That would be your Google Classroom admin email right there in that first box. Step 7, enter the given service account email that is supplied to you by JMC in the appropriate text box. So again, the second email address will be given to you by Luke. Step 8, enter the password that is supplied to you, and that also will be supplied to you. So the first box would be your Google admin email, and the second email will be provided by us, as well as the password. Step 9, place a check mark next to each building that you would like to be included in the Google Sync. Again, if you had multiple buildings, you would want to, maybe you're only using Google Classroom in the high school level, you would go ahead and select that. If you're only one building, of course, you would select the one building that you're using. Step 10, place a check mark in the Export JMC Courses to Google Classroom checkbox to have JMC automatically set up your Google Classrooms with JMC rosters for the teachers using the integration. This is really helpful if you already have courses set up in JMC. So again, I don't know if I'd said this, but you can start and stop integrations at any time. Of course, we'll sometimes work with you to what makes sense, but with Google Classroom, if you want to start it this year, you absolutely could. And this would be a helpful button to check if you're doing that, because what it's going to do is take the courses that you've already set up in JMC and set them up in Google Classroom. Step 7 is to place a check mark in the import Google Classroom grades and assignments to JMC checkbox. That allows JMC to import the grades and the assignments from JMC Classroom into your JMC Teacher Gradebook. So again, by doing that, that would have things from Google Classroom come into JMC. The final setup item is completed at the building level. So again, once we've done that at the district level, we're going to go to the building level and we'll go to File, Online Settings, and then we will select the Teacher tab. You will place a check mark in the Allow Teachers to Connect JMC and Google Classes checkbox to allow teachers in the logged in building to access the integration. So again, to allow teachers to use it, you'll need to check that checkbox. And step 13, again, if you see a save, click the Save button to update your settings online. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look at that. So we'll go into JMC Teacher, and here I'm in JMC Teacher, and it said to go to the district level. So I'm going to switch here, right on the right. I switched the buildings. I'm in the district level. And then it was File, Integrations, right here. You'll see this particular school has quite a few integrations. We're talking about Google Classroom right here. I'll click the Edit button. And if this was not checked, I would have checked that. And then the time, the clock, you see all the different times. And you can either click the time or just hand enter the time. And then I have a Save button here, so I'm going to click that to save it. So now I've enabled the Google Classroom. And then we'll move to the right side of the screen in the Sync Now. Again, this is the first time setup. And you'll put your email address here. And then Luke provided this email address and this password. I only have one building, so I selected that one building. There are no Google courses connected to any of your schools. This, I think, it says I can still export courses. That's because I don't have any. But if you already had courses set up in JMC and you wanted them to feed Google Classroom, you would select this button. If you want to import Google grades and assignments, so if you already have grades and assignments set up in Google Classroom courses, you would select this button to have those go into JMC. Am I missing anything on this page, Luke?
No, all good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then what the next step they said was to go ahead and switch to the building. So I'll go to the building level, and I'm in that building. And then it was File, Online Settings. And you'll notice we have all these tabs. I'm going to the Teacher tab. And then it's right here. If you can see this kind of halfway down on my screen. Allow teachers to connect JMC and Google Classrooms. If that's not checked, you'll need to first time check that. And then if you scroll down, save that. So that's what you do in JMC Office. It's pretty much that simple. I like that. Let's go back to the presentation. All right, any questions? I don't see any. Let's keep going. Now we're moving to JMC Teacher. Set up the integration for JMC Teacher. If you're one of the millions of teachers who use Google Classroom, you don't want to double enter your grades and assignments. We know that. Your school's tech team has partnered with JMC to set up your Google Classroom integration from the Office side. Now let's work on setting up the integration for any and all of your courses in JMC Teacher. So again, this is for the teachers. We'll be working in JMC Teacher under File, Connect JMC to Google Classroom. And the first step will be to select the JMC class you would like to connect to Google Classroom using the class drop-down list. So again, these are courses you already have in JMC and you want to connect them to Google Classroom. Step 2 will be enter the corresponding Google Classroom class code in the available field. So again, this will be a class code that comes from your Google Classroom setup. You'll put that there and then of course hit save. Here's a tip. If you need to find a Google Classroom class code, learn more in this article. So again, we can open this article. I'll just show you what it looks like. we've provided a link, and it just goes to the Google Classroom help desk, and this will walk you through helping finding that class code if you can't find it. And again, that link is also in the articles that we have so that you can find that. And we see a save button. So what does that mean is once you've entered your data, hit the save button to save that information. Connect with Google Classroom class at any time, even after the term has begun. Yep, you can do this. So say you for whatever reason, a class and you forgot to add it or what have you, or just decided to start using Google Classroom for a class, what have you, you can go ahead and add that. You can connect with JMC so they talk to each other. All right, let's take a live look at that. I went one screen too many, but that's okay. Let's go. So the first thing we're going to, I've logged into JMC Teacher. This is JMC Teacher, and I'm going to File, Connect with Google Classroom. It's really that straightforward right there. So the teachers will go to File, Connect with Google Classroom, and then you'll see here, as a teacher, Mrs. White has all these different courses. You would select the course, and then find the class code provided by Google Classroom and click Save. So you would do that with every course that you want to have integrated. That's the first step. I think that's all we did in this part. Yeah, all right, let's keep going. Were there any questions on that part? I don't think so. All right, let's keep going. The next is to import the assignments into JMC Teachers. So if you have Google Classroom assignments and you want those scores to show up in JMC, this is how we're going to do it. Assignments and scores are imported from Google Classroom into the Categories Assignment page of JMC Teacher. After your first successful sync, you'll see a new category named Google Classroom. Oops, I went too far. I'm sorry. Move those assignments into one of your assignment categories to have the synced scores calculate into student percentages, just as if you had entered them directly into the gradebook. So this is doing it for you. To get started working with assignments in Google Classroom, log into JMC Teacher and go to the Scores, Assignments, and Categories. Step 1, click the assignment name link under the Google Classroom category for the assignment you'd like to move to your Categories and Assignments list. So again, what they said is the first time you sync with Google Classroom, you'll see a bunch of assignments here under Google Classroom. And what we're actually doing is we're moving them up into the assignments section that you already have created in JMC. That's what we're doing. Step 2, which is optional, enter a new name for the assignment in the assignment name field. Again, that's completely optional. You can go ahead and change what is shown in Google Classroom to another name in JMC. That's why we say it's optional. You don't have to do that. Step 3, this is the part that you must do. Select a new category for this assignment in the category name drop-down list to move the assignment to one of your existing grading categories. So again, right now it's sitting in Google Classroom, but you want to move that assignment into one of your already established assignment categories where you have all your grading and everything set up. Again, we see a save button, so click the save button to update that and actually move it. And you will see it move when you click the save button right there. Here's a fun fact. All of the student scores attached to this assignment will move into the new category and adopt the weight of that category. Again, so it'll be graded how you would like. This will allow scores imported from Google Classroom to count towards a student's grade in that course. Step 5, then we will move to the Scores Assignment and Scores to view the scores imported by Google Classroom to ensure all the scores were imported as expected. So again, when you go ahead and move that, then you will then find that assignment under that course, and there you go. You'll see the scores are imported. Here's a helpful tip. If you'd like to change a score, please edit the score in Google Classroom and either wait for the nightly import, or again, we told you could do that. Click the Import Scores from Google Classroom button in JMC Teacher under Scores Assignment Scores to do an automatic sync. So again, either update Google Classroom so they match, I guess that makes sense, and then either immediately sync or just wait for the nightly sync, depending on the need. Here's another fun fact. If a score is not present in Google Classroom, it will be imported as a blank entry in the assignment scores. I think you saw that on the previous screen right here. See how these were blank? Then these scores, you can edit them with an alphanumeric system, such as X for exempt, LX for late exempt, LI late included, missing, missing included, handed in, and pending. So again, the way Google Classroom works is grades in Google Classroom move into JMC. They don't go the other way. It's just from Google Classroom into JMC. If there is no grade on an assignment in Google Classroom, it will come into JMC for that student is blank. But then in JMC, you have the ability to mark a reason why there is no score. So that's super helpful. All right, let's take a live look at this. So I was in my Google Classroom, and this time I'm going to go to scores, categories, and assignments. This is moving those classes. So I have one here as an example. I've set up my Google Classroom. I went ahead and did a sync, and now I have this day one worksheet hanging out here under Google Classroom. But I want to move it to an assignment so that it can be weighted correctly. And to do that, I just click on this right here, and you'll see it'll open this window. So it's under this course, this assignment. I'm not going to rename it. You could. But what I want to do is I want to move it from Google Classroom into an assignment. And I do that, and you'll see how I hit save. I've saved it. It is moved. So now it shows up here under an assignment, so it can have all the weight and such. You'll see in Google Classroom right here that weight column is blank for Google Classroom. But when I get to under assignments, there it is. It's properly weighted. And then the next thing what they would tell us to do is to go here to scores again, assignment scores. And I have that class pulled up, and you can see I've done the sync, and here's the grades that showed up. Now, the ones that I have are blank here or color coded, they actually came in empty. And so what I did is then I went ahead and changed it to a letter grade that I wanted, like this one. Oops, I hit the wrong button, sorry. What am I doing now? Now it's not acting as expected. All right, let's just move on to this one. I could do this. See, I'm missing. I just need to delete all these. I'm just going crazy now, aren't I? There we go. And you see how I can change it to missing. You can enter those letters so that at least on the JMC side, a parent's not going to say, why is this assignment score blank? There was nothing in Google Classroom. You can, again, just say why it was missing or what have you. And then we also mentioned the sync. And that should be over here too. Isn't there a sync button? I'm looking in the wrong spot. I apologize.
No, Sherry, you're in the right spot. It would be on the top of this page. If you scroll back up, it would be right next to the publish button. The reason it's not showing up is because I don't think you have this connected to a Google Classroom course.
You know what? Thank you. Thanks for your help with that. I was like, okay, I'm seeing it. Thank you. So again, because this is a test site, you're not seeing it. It would be right here, right here.
To the left of it.
Right here. Perfect. Yep. See, that's why Luke helps me all the time. Thank you. So right there, you'd be able to do an immediate sync. If you're like, wait, I know she published grades at midnight. These aren't right. You can go ahead and do that. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Did I cover everything? Is there anything you need to add on this? I know I kind of messed up the typing. See, if you type something wrong, JMC lets you know, which is really helpful. Blaring red, like Sherry does, that doesn't exist. So super helpful.
Looks
right?
good, Sherry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? I think, now we're up to news and upcoming events. There's one thing I wanted to share, though, before we go is, like I had mentioned, all of this information will be sent to you in a webinar, but it's also on our YouTube channel. This is our YouTube training channel. And you'll notice if I type in Google Classroom and hit search, there's all kinds of videos that should be popping up, right? Hold on, let me try it again. You know what, I think this, you know why we're not finding it here? This is the first video we've done on Google Classroom. That's why it's not showing up here, but it's going to be here. So if you type Google Classroom, you're going to find it. But the other thing I wanted to show you is here in our Help Center. Everyone, I hope, is familiar with the widget. If you visit our Help Center and you type in Google Classroom, everything we've gone over is in an article form right here. So you're going to be able to find all of those right here. Look at setup integration right here. So you can go within JMC, search for Google Classroom, and you're going to find all kinds of helpful articles. If you want to send an article to your teachers when it's time for teacher setup, right here. Go ahead and find that article, copy and paste that URL, send it to your teachers, and they'll have step-by-step instructions. Also, once this video is posted on YouTube, share it with them, right? It'll walk you through how to do it, which I love about JMC. Everything is hands-on to you 24/7, so that's great. All right, let's get to JMC news and upcoming events. Next week on the 27th, keep on top of student progress with Student Scope. That's awesome. I love Student Scope. If you don't know what that is, please watch that video. It helps Office Pros have a snapshot of a lot of different things all at once. Then we're new year, 2024 in January on the 3rd. Utilize the contact directory and mailing lists. That's a great time of year for that refresh. And then the second week in January on the 9th, utilizing the collaboration tools and getting ready for, that's why it's cut off, getting ready for the 24-25 school year. Super helpful. That is good stuff. So again, if you sign up for those webinars, sign up, even if you're not sure you can attend. Because if you sign up, they will send you the recording in an email to you. But guess what? All those videos land on the YouTube channel. So wait a week or so and you will find that information on the YouTube training webinar channel. Calling all shared superintendents. Now through March 31st, if you switch the 2nd District to JMC, you'll get it free. That's right, free. So 2nd District free. If you're interested, get a hold of our sales team to learn more. Check out the new features. Again, we are refreshing JMC. It is very exciting. The look and feel is amazing. Join us December 21st for the features of JMC's refreshed new family enrollment portal. In the session, we'll dig into the enhancements of JMC's refreshed new family enrollment portal, focusing on collection templates that simplify record creation, efficient review and communication processes with the families, and the ability for families to specify their children's transportation needs during enrollment. So again, that is a great feature if you haven't tried that yet, the new family enrollment feature, and now it looks and works amazing. We are looking for a few JMC superstars. That's how I got started. We know that in almost every school we find an unofficial JMC guru, a person that the colleagues contact if they need a quick question about a module. You may hear them sharing JMC tips and tricks with the colleague over lunch. When a JMC training comes up, they are the ones nominated to go for that school. If that sounds like you or maybe somebody you know, whatever it is, whoever came into mind, we want to meet them. And why? Because we have learned along the way that the best JMC superstars make the best JMC client service specialists, which I am too. I'm one for this Wisconsin, and we're looking for a few more passionate part-time client service specialists. And again, we are not public speakers. That's why you've heard me fumble a couple times, but we're keeping it real, right? We keep it light. We are just here because we have a passion for helping students and Office Pros and teachers like yourselves. If you'd like to apply, do so by submitting a resume and a cover letter to hr@jmcinc.com. And the last thing we always say, please be social with us. A great way to stay up to date on all things JMC is through our social media presence. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at JMC Online or our blog at jmcinc.com. Thanks for joining us, folks, and Happy New Year.